Hello students, this is Loveleen Arora from School of Agriculture, Sciences and Technology, RIMT University, Mandi Gobindgarh. Today I am going to talk about global trends in transgenic crops. So during the Green Revolution, great leaps in productivity were achieved using machinery and chemical pesticides and fertilizers. So this term was given by Dr. Paul. According to ISAAA, he is the board chair. So what do you mean by ISAAA? ISAAA is International Service for the Acquisition of Agribiotic Application. So Green Revolution is the third agricultural revolution which was responsible to increase the production of food grains in India, and as we know that father of Green Revolution is MS Swaminathan in India. But the outcome, the drawback was that we were using chemical pesticides and machinery and fertilizers in this case. So now in this modern era, in modern world, we are going to deal with a new emerging technology, that is plant genetic engineering under biotechnology, which is playing an incremental role in making farms more productive and more profitable. So food production can be increased by applying biotechnology by the following ways. First, agrochemical based agriculture. Second, organic agriculture, and third is genetically engineered crop based agriculture. So agrochemicals are quite expensive for farmers in developing countries and also have harmful effects on environment. Therefore, the genetically modified crops were developed. So now, as we all know, this is the time of pandemic of COVID-19. So we are not hoping or we are not wishing for the third wave it comes in India. So but we have to get ready for the next wave of transgenics, and it is a great boom in agriculture, and it also provides a great profit to the economic wealth and health of the farmers. So what are transgenic plants? I am going to introduce the topic by the definition that transgenic plants are the plants whose genome, their normal DNA, has been modified by using the genetic engineering techniques. So in this case, the main genetic engineering techniques which are going to be used are molecular scissors and molecular glue. These are the two tools of recombinant DNA technology. Molecular scissors are restriction endonuclease enzymes, and the molecular glue are DNA ligase. So the aim of transgenic plants is to introduce a new trait into a plant so as it can produce a desirable characteristics. So the inserted foreign DNA sequence is known as the transgene. And what is the purpose of inserting this foreign DNA? The purpose of inserting a foreign DNA in the plant is that we can get the useful and productive products as much as possible. So the genetic modifications in plants have resulted in, first, increased tolerance against the abiotic and biotic stresses like cold conditions, drought conditions, salt conditions and heat conditions. It has also reduced the dependence upon chemical pesticides, like we are developing the pest resistant crops with the use of biotechnology. Reduced post-harvest losses, next increased efficiency of the minerals by plants, and also we are producing the enhanced nutrient value of food rich in vitamin, as we are more familiar with golden rice is one big example. So I'm going to talk now the history of transgenic plants. So from where the transgenic plants evolved, the transgenic plants was evolved since 1982, and the first transgenic plant produced was antibiotic resistant tobacco plant. After 1982, in 1986, the transgenic plant which was produced was herbicide resistant tobacco plant, and the herbicide which was used was bromoxynil. Then later in the 1994, the first genetically modified crop approved by the US government for sale was flavor saver tomato. Then in 1995, there was first pesticide producing crop known as BT potato was approved by US again and the EPA Environmental Protection Agency. Then the golden rice was also introduced in the year 2000 with high beta carotene content with the increased nutrient value. So these are the pictures of some transgenic crops which are produced, like BT BT cotton, like BT cotton is a very advantageous crop which is introduced in the world, and India is a major producer of BT cotton. As this, why it is known as BT cotton? Because BT here stands for Bacillus thuringiensis, and Bacillus thuringiensis is a gram-negative bacteria in which we are isolating the cryproteins, and we are using that cryproteins basically for killing the insects area like Lepidopterans, Coleopterans, and it is really a great boom to the agriculture. Then likewise we have flavor saver tomato, and for the production of flavor saver tomato, the technology which was used was antisense RNA technology, in which the PG gene, polygalacturonase gene, which is responsible for ripening of tomatoes, it was silenced by using antisense RNA technology. Then you can similarly see golden rice. Golden rice is one example which is responsible to increase the nutritional value of food. Basically and more specifically, it is responsible to increase the vitamin A content. Likewise, we have BT brinjal, BT soya bean, BT tobacco, etc. So why we are going towards the transgenic plants? This means transgenic plants have various advantages, right? First is nutritional quality. So what do you mean by nutritional quality? That the transgenic plants are introduced to increase the nutritional content in the food. Like the very big example is golden rice. So golden rice, in it the vitamin A content is increased. Second, we can also enhance the shelf life of food, like a very big example we have just discussed, that is flavor saver tomatoes. So flavor saver tomatoes has the antisense RNA technology has been used in this case to increase the shelf life of tomato, and it lasts for longer. Industrial products can also be synthesized by using the transgenic plants, like cosmetics is one area. Transgenic plants are also used for the production of pharmaceuticals and edible vaccines. And why edible vaccines? Because many of us are afraid of injections, needles, that we do not have to inject the needle. So we are very afraid of that. So this is the solution to one thing, that edible vaccines are orally ingested and there is no need of such needles, and it is it is free of pain. Then biotic and abiotic stress tolerance can also be achieved by transgenic plants production. So what are the most common used genetic engineering techniques in this? So very well, we have two basic methods for the gene transformation in the plants. Like we have direct method and indirect method. So direct method involves basically physical and the chemical method, and the physical method is microprojectile method, which is also known as ballistic gun method or gene gun method for gene transfer. We can also use electroporation, in which we are going to use the electrical impulses, high voltage, to create the pores in the plasma membrane or the cell membrane of plants. Then we can also use microinjection, in which we are going to use the needle which contains a liquid solution of foreign DNA, and it is injected into the nucleus of that plant. So then we have also the indirect gene transfer method, and the most widely used indirect gene transfer is vector based method, and that is Agrobacterium tumefaciens mediated gene transfer. Now what is this Agrobacterium tumefaciens? Yes, this is a gram negative bacteria. It is a soil bacterium. It is non-spore forming bacterium which mainly infects the dicotyledon plants, and basically it is responsible for generating or producing crown gall disease in the plants. So what we are going to use in this case, we are going to use a technique which is known as Agrobacterium tumefaciens mediated gene transfer, in which we are using the bacteria and its plasmid known as TI plasmid. So TI plasmid here means tumor inducing plasmid, and in this plasmid we are going to insert a foreign gene of our interest by using again that is molecular scissor and molecular glue. That is the main tools of genetic engineering. So by using restriction enzymes, we are going to cut the restriction sites of TI plasmid and inserting the foreign DNA into it, and by using the molecular glue we are using the DNA ligase to introduce that foreign gene into the plant. And finally we are growing that plant in the tissue culture, and then we are regenerating plant with a new trait. So now I'm going to talk about the global status of GM crops. So what is the global status of GM crops? Firstly, I'm going to discuss the 2017 data, that global area covered by the GM crops. So the global area of biotech or GM crops in 2017 is, I'm going to discuss the country first, that is USA. USA covers majorly 75 million hectares of land for production of the biotech crops like maize, soya bean, canola, sugar beets, alfalfa, papaya, potatoes, apples, etc. Then in the rank, the next comes Brazil with 50.2 million hectares area producing soya bean, maize and cotton. Then comes Canada with 13.4 million hectares land producing canola. Canola is a major producing crop there, and maize, soya beans. Then at the 5th rank according to 2017 data is scored by India. So India covers 11.4 million hectares of land for the production of cotton, as India is a major producer of BT cotton. So likewise at the end we have Bangladesh with 0.1 million hectare land producing brinjal, an eggplant. So this is the report of ISAAA of in 2017. This is a global status of commercialized biotech crops in 2017, and according to this, 17 million farmers are involved in fastest adopted crop technology in the recent times, and 189.8 million hectares biotech crops in 2017 are cultivated. USA ranks at the first, and at the last we are seeing here there is India. As you know, India is the major producer of BT cotton, so it is producing cotton in a very much amount, right? So now we are moving towards what are the advantages of biotech crops. So the advantages of biotech crops are, it provides better environment, it reduces the CO2 emissions and leads to less global warming, and also it helps to alleviate the poverty and hunger in the world. Now I'm going to discuss the latest report which is given by ISAAA 2019, and it is that Africa leads the progress among the regions of the world in adopting the biotech crops, as it doubles the number as compared to the adopting countries in 2019, as Africa has been regarded as the region with biggest potential to benefit from biotech crop adoption, as it has immense problem of poverty and malnutrition in the region. So these are the world's top 5 biotech crops. First, I'm going to discuss about biotech soya beans. So biotech soya beans since 1996 covers 95.9 million hectares land, total area in 2018. The major producer of biotech soya bean is USA, and Brazil is a major exporter. Then comes biotech maize. Biotech maize is also known as transgenic maize, covers 58.9 million hectares total area in 2018, and 137 countries have approved this events in 35 countries. Then comes the BT cotton, and BT cotton, as we have discussed many times, that it is a it is a boom in the agriculture of India, as India is a major producer of BT cotton, and it covers about 24.9 million hectares total area in 2018. Then comes biotech canola. Biotech canola is majorly grown by Canada, and it covers about 10.1 million hectares total area in 2018. Then comes biotech alfalfa. So biotech alfalfa covers 1.3 million hectares total area in 2018, and it is mainly planted by Canada and also sold by the trademark Harvixtra alfalfa. So next we are going to talk about the cumulative global GM crop farm income benefits since 1996 to 2018. So you know that through a combination of lower production cost and higher yields provided by the biotech crops, it has boosted the incomes of farmer and also helped the farmer in their wealth. So according to this data, we can see that IR cotton, that means insect resistant cotton, and HT soy, that means herbicide tolerant soy, it provides more benefit to the farmers, that is about 28%. It also boosts the income of the farmer. Then I'm going to talk about some transgenic crops which are approved by FDA, USA, and the major producing company is Calgene. So Calgene is working upon and improve the traits of high laureate oil and weed control in the plant canola. Then Monsanto is one company which has worked upon the traits for controlling weeds in the field, for insect resistance, for insect control and virus control. So the plants which were worked upon were canola, corn, soya bean, cotton, tomato and potato. So these are the major Indian developments in transgenic research. Like in India, we have Research Institute CPRI, that is Central Potato Research Institute Shimla, working on the plant potato to generate insect resistance. Likewise, we have CCMB Hyderabad working on the crop plant like rice to generate herbicide tolerance. Yes, the emerging benefits of transgenic plant is the production of edible vaccine, which is worked by the University of Agricultural Science, Bangalore, on the crop plant musk melon. Likewise, we have Central Tobacco Research Institute, Rajamundry, working on the crop plant tobacco to generate insecticide resistance. So what are the pros and cons associated with the GMOs? As you know, everything has pros and cons associated with it. So first I am going to discuss about the pros. So what are the pros? GMOs can help us to increase the crop yield, and the very much big advantage of GMO are it do not cause environmental pollution. It avoids the escape of genes, right? So use of genetically modified organisms can reduce the global hunger problem. More people may get out of poverty by the production of GMO crops. GMO may contain higher amount of beneficial substances, efficient land use. GMOs may help to lower the food prices as well, and the taste of food may be improved through GMOs, and the longer shelf life of GM food, and also the water conservation in the agriculture processes is the main advantage of GMOs. And similarly, some cons are also associated, like religious concerns. You know that the people have ethical concerns, they have social concerns related to GMOs, and these are religious concerns regarding GMOs. Humans should not play God, it is ethical concern. Spread of serious epidemics and pandemics due to some global issues. Then we may underestimate the risk of GMOs. GMOs may alter the DNA of the natural habitat. Allergic reactions related to GMOs, it may lead to antibiotic resistance, which further leads to the generation of multi-drug resistant bacteria. So what are the future perspectives of GM crops? See, the enhanced production of GM crops to eliminate hunger, it carries hidden cost in environment and health concerns. So more research is being carried out for the two safety concerns of the plant, so that it can be approved for the market use. And in future, transgenic crops will be used not only for the improved agronomic traits, but also for the traits involving food processing, pharmaceuticals and special chemicals. So I'm going to end this lecture by concluding the biotechnology in these few lines in terms of agriculture. That is, it is going to lower the cost, it is going to increase the yield, and it is going to also increase the wealth of farmers. Thank you.